Hi, welcome to NCRT Class 8 History. This is chapter number 8, Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. In this chapter, we will discuss about the cultural mission of Britishers and the concept of Orientalism, the supporter and critics of Orientalism. Then we will cover new rules and routines implemented by the Britishers in existing education system of India. In the last, we will cover the agenda of national education. Here, we will discuss about the views of uh, various thinker regarding Western learning and Oriental learning. So mainly, we will discuss about Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore and Arvindo Ghosh. So let's start. In the earlier chapter, you have seen how the British rule affected the Rajas and Nawab, peasant and tribal. So in this chapter, we will try and understand what implication it had for the lives of students. For the British in India wanted not only the territorial conquest and the control over the revenue, they also felt that they had a cultural mission. So cultural mission of Britishers refers to the spread of Western culture through education, science and technology, logic, etc. in uh, their colonies. So they had to civilize the native, changes their custom and values. Okay, so what change we introduced over the Indians civilized and made into what the British believed were good subjects. So these were the question in front of the Britishers. So the British could find no simple answer to these questions, and they continue to be debated for many decades. Right. So the British mind was into two segments, Orientalism and the other was criticizing. The Orient referred to the culture, Asia. So some British used to be minor and new subjects introduced, right? So this they were willing to recover the idea, literature, right? And on the other hand, critics were saying that there is no need to spend more and more money in these kind of this kind of learning and subjects, right? So they were willing to introduce new kind of subjects, and they were supporting that Indians should be made familiar with the Western learning, science and technology that the West had made. Okay, so they strongly criticize Oriental learning. So let's discuss. So this is first topic, how the British saw education. So let us look at what the British thought and did, and how some of the ideas of educations that we now take for granted evolved in the last 200 years. So in the process of this inquiry, we will also see how the Indians reacted to the British ideas and how they developed their own views about how Indians were to be educated. So the tradition of Orientalism. So Orient word refer to the people or region of Asia. So this refer to the custom culture of Asia. So here we will discuss some thinkers. They were supporter of the Orientalism, and they were saying that the medium of instruction should be in vernacular languages, right? And no new alien subject or new subject should be introduced, and the people should be educated in ancient subject, right, which were known to them. So in 1783, a person named William Jones arrived in Calcutta, and he had an appointment as a junior judge at the Supreme Court that the company had set up. As you know, research different courses like and Sanskrit, etc. So he Arabic and Latin and is at Arabic friend, right? So at Calcutta, he began spending many hours a day with the Pandit who taught him the subtleties of detail of the Sanskrit language, grammars, and poetry. So soon he was studying the ancient Indian texts on law, philosophy, religion, politics, morality, arithmetic, medicine, and other sciences. So John discovered that his interests were shared by the British official in Calcutta at that time. So English Henry Thomas Colebrook and the uh, Nathaniel had also busy discovering the ancient Indian heritage, mastering Indian languages, and translating the Sanskrit and Persian work into English. Right. So together with them, John set up the Asiatic Society of Bengal and started a journal called Asiatic Researches. So he was the member of the journal, the person who is Orientalism must have it. One had to represent a particular body and they had wait for the boy and the rest. So they had a Egyptian passport had to decline. And you understand, yeah, it was necessary to discover the sacred and legal texts that were produced in the ancient past. So sacred legal texts okay, so those are the real and the texts would down in India. So the government about the ancient under Indian making a clear, right? So they will to know India's but also they will discover the global past of India. Okay, so the British learned from this also help the Indian research and also so British would become the guardians of the Indian culture as well as its master. So influenced by the such ideas, yes, many company officials argued that the British ought to promote the Indian rather than Western learning. Okay, so they were in support of this kind of learning, right? So Oriental learning should be there and not Western learning. So we can say they were the Orientalist. So they felt that the institutions should be set up to encourage the study of the ancient India texts and teach the Sanskrit and Persian literature and poetry. So for this purpose, they set up different institutions. So we will see in the coming slides. So the official also thought that the Hindu and Muslim ought to be taught what they were already familiar with it and what they valued and treasured, not the subject that were alien to them. So they thought that there is no need to introduce new kind of subject which are alien to them, right? So only then they believed could the British hope to win a place in the heart of Indians or natives, and only then could the aliens rulers or British rulers expect to be respected by their subjects. So with this object in a view, a madrasa, that is a place of learning, it's a kind of school or college, was set up in Calcutta, as you can see in this picture, in 1781 to promote the study of the Arabic, Persian and Islamic law. And the Hindu college was established in Banaras in 1791. You can see the picture of this college to encourage the study of the ancient Sanskrit texts that would be useful for the administration of the country, because many students will get the education and these students will help to administer the country, right? In this kind of institution. So not all official shared this view. Many were very strong in their criticism of the Orientalists. So other sect was criticizing this kind of institution, and they were not in support of the Oriental learning. So we will see the coming slide. So these are the keywords, as you can see. So Orientalist, those with a scholarly knowledge of the language and culture of the Asia, right? So Orientalists that we have already discussed, like William Jones, Colebrooke, and Hen Haskell. So they were the Orientalists, and they have a keen interest in the culture and literature and languages of Asia. The Munshi refers to a person who can read, write, and teach Persian. A vernacular refers to the local language or the dialect. The madrasa refer to an Arabic word. So this is a place of learning. Okay, and any type of school or college we can say. Now next is grave error of the East. So from the early 19th century, many British officials began to criticize the British learning. Okay, so the knowledge of the East was full of error, and it is unscientific, and Eastern literature was non-serious and light-hearted. So this was the opinion of critics. So they argued that it was wrong on the part of the British to spend money, okay, to encourage the study of Arabic, Sanskrit, and language and literature. James Mill was critics of this. The effort he should not we teach what the native only and in that way. So education we teach and okay. The aim of education should be to teach useful and practical. So the Indian should be made familiar with the scientific and technical advances that the Western countries have made, rather than with the poetry and sacred literature of the Orient or Asia. Orient refer to Asia. So here you can see these persons, James Mill and Macaulay, they were the critics of Orientalism and strongly criticized Orientalism. 1830 he attacked Orientalism, and by 1830 it became the attack on Orientalist became very sharper, and one of the most outspoken and influential of such critics was Thomas Babington Macaulay. So he saw the India as an uncivilized country, and that needed to be civilized. So according to him, no branch of the Eastern knowledge could be compared to the what England had produced, and he thought that a single shelf of a good European library was worth of whole of the native literature of the India and Arabia, right? So he argued that the British government in India stopped wasting public money in promoting Oriental learning, for it was because it was no practical use. Okay, so there is no practical use of this kind of learning, so no need to spend more money on this kind of learning. So with a great energy and passion, Macaulay emphasized the language. He felt that the knowledge would allow Indian to read some of the finest literature the world had produced, right? So in this way, Indian would become familiar with the Western literature, Western literature, and it would make them aware of the development in the Western science and philosophy. So the teaching of English could thus be a way of civilizing people and literature and culture. So William Manifest Act was introduced. So the decision was made medium but in these institutions, right? So these were seen as the temple of darkness, and that were falling of themselves into decay. Okay, because there was no support from the government side to these institutions, and the English textbook now began to be produced for the schools, and this was as a result of English Education Act of 1835. Now education for commerce. So here we will discuss about the Boot Dispatch. So in 1854, the court director of the East India Company in London sent an educational dispatch to the Governor General in India. Okay, so president of the company, because So the book is frequency and it emphasizes once again the practical benefit of a system of European learning. Okay, and oppose the Oriental knowledge. So one of the practical use of the dispatch pointed was to recognize advantage, the sources of with the Union way, which is the desire for Indian would use and that okay, the Indians will follow the European life and what they will change their data and will the which made things that were producing goods. They also have the food and thus supply the company with the civil servant. Okay, so in this way, company will get the civil servant at lower prices, right? Yes, company and it could be so the literature this was not essentially useless. So four measures were introduced. So what were these? The IGP part of and so very useful like Madras and Calcutta, and attempts were also made to bring about changes within the system and impose new routines and law parts like some of these this was why the group was not willing to pay more attention on body, right? So there was no any kind of support from side of this vision and we wanted to make strong investment in India. Okay, so company was willing to make its presence strong in India. So this was the reason. So until 1830, the East India Company was opposed to missionaries and the population and them in India. So this was the reason the company to interfere in some tradition of Indians. So the missionaries of okay. So on top and this college here. So this is missionary school. So over the 19th century, the missionary schools were set up. So reason I have already told belief and Indians. Okay, so to local Pathshala. Okay, so there were several kind of Pathshala in like Bengal and later on when the mission imposed new kind of policies and new routines. Okay, and this Pathshala was to be stopped area and each of these parts. Okay, so the education system, traditional education of William Adam report. So in 1830, the William Adam, a Scottish missionary, toured the district of Bengal and Bihar, and he had been asked by the company to report on the progress of education in the vernacular school. So vernacular school refer to Pathshala here. Okay, so the report Adam produced is interesting. So let's see what were the findings of this report. So they were in Bihar area. These were small institutions, no more than 20 students in each Pathshala, but the total number of the children being taught in this with the needs so that's right. Had to go to their hostel with their parents. Okay, so up to the mid 19th century, the company was concerned primarily with the higher education, so it was allowed the local Pathshala to function within the much uh, interference, right? So without much interference. Okay, so after 1854, the company decided to improve the system for implementation of so that this would be done by the so you see you can do the system of yeah. So how is to and we are doing so here you see number of government and for schools first one is allowed to the regular timetable. So teaching was now to be based on the textbook and learning, and learning was to be tested through the annual examination and released of and with new rules of this which and over the group who wanted to retain this for the new Pathshalas. Okay, so these old students were not able to complete with the since the timetable was flexible. Okay, so the discipline of the new system demanded a regular attendance. Even during the harvesting time when the children of the poor families had to work in the field. Okay, So there was inability to attend the schools came to be seen as indiscipline and as it evidence of the lack of desire to learn, right? So the children of poor family were not now were not able to get the education because of this regularity. So Aurobindo Ghosh stated that the goal of national education was to awaken the spirit of nationality among the students. Okay, so that should be the goal of education. Okay, so it should develop the spirit of nationality among the student, right? And this required a contemplation of the heroic deeds of our ancestors. Okay, so there is need to concentrate on the heroic work of our ancestor, right? So we need to study that, and the education should be imparted in the vernacular or local languages so as to reach the large number of the people. Okay, and Aurobindo Ghosh emphasized that although the students should remain connected to their own roots, okay, so they should not forget their culture, right? And they should also take the fullest advantage of the modern scientific discoveries and the western experiments in popular governments. Okay, whatever these experiments have been done in the popular government like the western countries, the students should take the advantages of these scientific and modern and scientific development or discoveries, right? So moreover, the student should also learn the some useful craft. Okay, so remember this, so focus on here. So students also learn some craft or skills. Okay, so that they could be able to find some moderately remunerative employment, or we can say um, they could be able to earn their livelihood after leaving their schools, right? So this was the opinion of Aurobindo Ghosh regarding the education. Now let's discuss about the Mahatma Gandhi. So we will discuss about Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, so what were their opinions? Gandhi argued that local is superior and their own cultures. Okay, so in this way, the Western learning the institutions run by the Britishers, and he are the people that show them that Indians were willing to be enslaved, right? So Mahatma Gandhi strongly felt that the Indian language, right, the English educated how to relate to masses. Okay, so Western education, Mahatma Gandhi said, focus mainly on right rather than and it focus each value like behind education help okay, so education such as basically did not count as education according to Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so the people had to work with their hand and learn craft and know how the different things operated. Okay, so in this way, Mahatma Gandhi focused that some learn skills. Okay, sentiments, right? Rabindranath Tagore, and Award of Peace set up refers to Shanti Niketan. Okay, so Shanti Niketan was set up by the Rabindranath founding no, these are institution 1900. So I right? So like doing support okay. So this way, Rabindranath Tagore okay. So about education. So owing on growing up, he wanted to set up schools where the result of So child curiosity, right? So according to the Tagore, the existing school and creativity. Okay. So it is like it was starting in the mention times. So in this speakers again. So in this Tagore, normally strongly criticize the Western and the because in technology. On the other hand, Tagore wanted to combine the element of the modern Western civilization with the what right, and so in this technology, art and science. Okay, so he knew nothing about the Western, right? So and some British and other